What up? It's your boy Dvrth back at it again with another video, and today we're here with To Your Eternity episode 11. I'm gonna check 12. Jesus fucking Christ. We're here with episode 12. Last episode was actually pretty feel good for most of the episode. We got a new mask for Gugu. Fushi he sounds more human. Reen is having a 16th birthday. Everything's cool. Boozman shows some emotion outside of just wanting things for himself. And then the knockers attacked as soon as the show got to the apex of how good it could feel. And now I'm worried for my boy Gugu's life, because this seems to be a good moment for Fushi himself to learn from, on how much more strength he has to gain and how much more evolving he has to do. So seems like we have a fight on our hands. Not sure how it's gonna end, but I think we can all come to vaguely the same conclusion, the same very sad conclusion. So we're just gonna have to watch and see. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more To Your Eternity or something totally different, the best place to send that in. As always, my social media link's gonna be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early, you can subscribe to my Patreon. We have the full length reaction to these episodes, as well as just being early. You know how Patreon works. And we also have a Discord if you want to join that. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones. Make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. Yeah, everything was just fine until the Fire Nation attacked. Maybe. You better live, Gugu. You better live. Zawado. That's funny. Can they take over people? Shit! Man! Shut the fuck up! Let's get it! The fuck? They evolve too? Shit. Ah! Shit, they evolve as well? So if they come into contact with people, what can it do? Does it just take over them and then turn them into zombies? Shit, why are you still here? Oh shit. Oh shit. Let's go! Big fucking Google. That's my boy, it's my son. That's my son. Oh shit, he went back. Shit. Oh fuck, it's taking different. So this thing can take the elements of, like, what, non-living things? Oh shit, yep. It's fireproof now. What the oh! What the fuck? Good job. Shit. Let's go, march! Marchy! Good job. Holy fuck, good job. Let's go! Johan! Let's go. There it goes. And flamethrower! Okay, okay, good job, good job. Yeah, it's transferring itself. Marchy! Not good. Shit. Oh! Go, go! Holy shit. Oh my. Go home! Fuck, 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 fuck. Oh, this OST is bumping though. This shit cooking. Come on, Fushi. This is not the time. There you go. Shit. 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 Oh, fuck. Google, come on, bro. Oh, fuck. Come on, bro. Not my son. Not my son. Come on, bro. Not my son. Oh, dude, no. Oh, come on. Not my son, bro. Fuck. Dude. No! Fuck. Huh? It overheat or something? Oh, it did. Fuck, that's true. We went through this. Oh! God, we went through the same thing with March. Like, she died and then she was shown like some type of paradise. Can't, yeah. But he can manipulate Oh, bro, he can manipulate Fushi. Yep. Oh, okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, dude, that's. Oh,
理想そのものだった。でも何か足りなかった。気づいたんだ。それは本当の自分だ。
is this happen?
俺、全然
So he
して
can.
ないからな。
どうしよう。
Wait.
この姿じゃ。どうしよう、どうしよう、どうしよう、どうしよう。
Wait.
なんで俺は。俺なんだろう。
He can. What the fuck? Wait. Wait a minute.
彼はとても勇敢で素敵な人だったわ。
Wait a minute. I don't know if you should be lying to her like this, but
そうだった。
still.
何？どこへ？
Wait a minute.
と、
We'll talk about it,
買い
but
物だよ。
私も行く。
リーンが持ってて、その方が俺のことを思い出してくれるでしょ。
嬉しい。ありがとう。
damn. How my dog Boozman, bro. He torn up, bro. He torn up. That is weird.
夜遅くまで体に触るじゃないか。さ、帰ろう。
パパ、私ね。私、結婚やめる。好きな人ができたの。
好きな人？誰だ？すぐに私に会わせなさい。
もうここにはいない。
Yeah, she knows. I figured she knew. She's not dumb. Yeah. Yeah. She's not dumb. Fuck, man. That is. Whoa. 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 We effectively lost this episode. We did. We lost. That was an L. That was effectively an L. That was not a win at all. That was not a win. So first of all, it seemed like, and of course, they were warned about it, but the knockers, they evolved. They planned, they evolved, they figured out that last time we pulled up made of wood and the fire destroyed us. Now, it took them 4 years to get there, but think about it in terms of like Fushi, where it took him a very long time to get to certain to certain levels in life as well. The knockers are can be kind of mirrored in that aspect that yes, it took them 4 years to get there, but they are making progress the same way that Fushi is making progress, effectively putting them as the main, like solidifying them as the main antagonist to Fushi, right? I mean, they were already said to be Fushi's antagonist, but it's just to drive the point home that they are also making strides to becoming better, right? Now, this time around, they're made of rock, and you know, obviously now they're fireproof. The problem is that the knockers seem to not possess, like, we understand that the knockers can't they can't take the form of life. they're abominations of that aspect, right? They can't take the form of life. They're an abomination of life, so they can't like become the wood or become the rock, right? They have to manipulate the wood or the rock, because those things are non-living, right? Specifically the rock, right? So when they, you know, they have that core, which is probably the knocker, right? That manipulates the rock into taking the form of whatever they steal from Fushi. The thing that stopped the thing that stopped them, which is just like what I'm thinking, is that because since they don't know much, they only just took this form. They don't know much about. They learned about how like the wood is flammable, so the fire is gonna dirt them. Now they're like, okay, we'll get something that isn't flammable. We'll get the rock, right? The problem is that since the knocker is that thing, that core that's inside of them, they didn't think to themselves, oh, if we do get flamed, we basically just made our makeshift body an oven, which is what happened. They didn't burn, but the inside of them was turned into like preheated to 350 basically. So that and maybe that's not what happened. Maybe it's something different that I'm not seeing, but that seems to be what happens. That he basically preheated the the knocker to like 375, and eventually the knocker's like, oh shit, I'm going to die, or the form that it took couldn't withstand anymore, and he bailed out and got out of there. So as we talked about in the last episode, we weren't ready. We weren't prepared. We should have been as cool as it was to live a life with our newfound family and all the other stuff. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, Fushi has a calling in the way of you have to be strong enough to face these things. And it sucks. It sucks for him, but that is simply what his life is right now. So that was tough. I figured that Gugu would die this episode. It just, like I said last episode, they just red flagged. They just red flagged for to hell and back, being like, oh yeah, too bad I got to die before him, and blah blah. I wish I could see him grow up. Blah. You motherfuckers, you. But hey man, it happened. It happened. The fight itself was pretty good. Seeing Fushi try to hold his own against the newly formed knocker. He was obviously outclassed. The only thing that stopped the knocker was that Fushi's endurance was a little bit better than the form that it took, the form that the knocker took, and that eventually forced him to retreat, which was smart. This is why we lost, because it was a very strategic retreat that worked really well. In the context of what was going to happen if they kept fighting, and if we are to believe that they are continuing to get stronger, get smarter, and all this other stuff, so, same way that Fushi is, they are obviously going to make smarter decisions like retreating. But I guess I should talk about the death, I guess. I can't say that Gugu dying was like a surprise. It wasn't going to be. and it wasn't a surprise when he was dying. But this, as we talked about, this was a good way for Fushi to realize that, yeah, it's time to step up, right? It was just sad. I don't know. It was sad, but it was needed. It was needed for Fushi, and now, you know, he can go forth with that form, especially since he lost two forms, which is Oniguma in March. So, which sucks. You lost March. That's really tough, which is why that scene was so dramatic when it happened, because, like, no, we literally lost March right there. So now we have to go find those forms. But yeah, we did gain a form in the way of Goo, sadly. But more, I don't want to say more importantly, but the question that I have now is what we should be talking about right now in the discussion is to address what happened when Gugu died, right? Like the episode itself was mostly comprised of the fight and Gugu's death, and that really sucked, and all of that. You know, his brother finding his body, carrying him back and stuff. But what we need to address now in the discussion is when Gugu died, what happened? As we talked about like an episode or two ago, and these were, you know, we were just kind of like spitballing at that point, right? Just like, this is what happened when March died, like, and this is what it feels like is the story setting up for. But when Gugu died, the exact same thing happened. The exact same thing, which is that he was shown a not glamorized, a paradise version of what his life could be, or what he wants his life to be, right? Where if we, you know, to talk a little bit about March's death again, just to compare them, is that March died and immediately was shown herself older with her kids and her family and all this other stuff. She had exactly everything that she wanted. It was this very dreamy, ethereal kind of look to everything. She did not know that she was dead. She was simply shown a heavily stylized and personally realized version of the life that they actually live. And if we go even further back from March's death, the nameless boy had the exact same thing. He found his people, he found his family, everything was warmer. He got to talk to people again. He was surrounded by people. Somebody who spent most of their time alone, and when they weren't alone, they were just with Johan, was given everything they wanted, and it still had that same dreamy, ethereal, stylized version of things. And we never got the whole realization that he was dead, and that's mostly just from a meta perspective, because like he's like, hello, my name is, and we never learned his name. But it's to be guessed that eventually he realized that he was dead. Well, no, I take it back, because where we're about to go with this, that may not be the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that when looking at both those two examples and comparing it with Gugu's death, he has the exact same experience, which is he dies, he does not know that he's dead, he's shown a stylized, perfected, dreamy version of his life that he wanted, until he learns that he is actually dead. Now, why is it so important that we continue to point out they learn that they're dead, right? Whereas the boy may or may not, like the nameless boy, may or may not have learned that, right? I think the difference is whether they cross over or not. I think that is the difference, is whether they cross over or not. What seems to be a paradise, as we've talked about in the last discussion, if there is a God, whether there is just one of him, multiple of them, there's him and a devil or something, doesn't matter. Since there is a being, a godlike being, it wouldn't be a far-fetched conclusion to say that there is also a paradise or a heaven or a nirvana or something to that effect for humans, that it may be more that pass on. The difference is whether or not you cross over. For the boy, it seems to be heavily implied that he actually crossed over. Now, it is up in the air whether March and Gugu actually did. Because March and Gugu, at least for a split second, for a good amount of time, and it seems for even longer for Gugu. Like for March, we saw her for a little bit, and then she was gone, and then we got March's form. For Gugu, he stuck around for a while. At first, I was like, okay, maybe this is just like a thing. Maybe this is like one of those anime, not even anime. This is just one of those TV show things where like you get to talk to the ghosts and stuff like that. But I think the show is trying to hammer home that no, the whole ghost aspect of the show is real. And I don't mean real as in no, there are ghosts, but real as in these spirits, at least to Fushi, are tangible. They are actually still in the world. They haven't crossed over to Nirvana or whatever, heaven, whatever you want to call it, right? So they stay here. Mix that, as we talked about before, with the whole thing of his forms actually growing up, and they seem to, and as we learned in this episode, they lose progress as soon as he changes. As soon as he changes back, they lose progress because humans are not supposed to do that. And that's my best guess for that. The reason for that, at least, is that humans aren't supposed to do that. They aren't supposed to quickly change to another person's life. They stay themselves. Therefore, they progress, right? So, if Gugu could stay and keep in mind, we lost. Keep in mind once again that we don't know whether March crossed over. We still don't know if March crossed over or not. We know that Gugu didn't, and we don't, and we assume that March didn't either. But we lost March's form in this episode, and we saw March in this episode. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's crazy, Gugu." My brain was already, the cogs were already spinning. But when I saw March, I was like, "Shit, it all makes sense now." So the ghost thing is real. The ghost thing is real. The Nirvana is, I guess is what we can call it. Nirvana, heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call it. There's many names for it. Is real. But the question is, why do they stay, and what could you do if they stay for that long? We have seen that these forms are vessels, and I won't go too into that discussion again, simply because we already talked about it in the last, or not the last episode, but the episode before that. But these vessels are obviously perfect reincarnations of them. If the physical form is here and the spiritual form is still here, it is possible for both to come together and become a person again, right? And immediately, my first thought is, no, that's a little too far fetched for even for this show. It may be a little too far fetched, right? The show seems to be decently grounded, even with all the stuff going on. But the trick is that the show is showing all this stuff, and they're making it grounded as well, because that is simply a part of the world. Why? Because also in this episode, we saw the potential for it happening. When Gugu was explaining what he saw to Fushi, and Rin came to the house, it seemed as though Fushi in Gugu's form and Gugu in his spiritual form for however long, whether it be a nanosecond or just a little bit, because Fushi had Gugu's form, Gugu was able to merge with Fushi and actually be in his body again. Effectively, Gugu, for that amount of time, if I am right about it, Gugu for that amount of time, I don't know how it works, was revived. The difference is that we never saw March. We never saw March actually do it, because we lost her form. My thing is that even with these forms, we only have one body, right? Like we technically still don't know exactly how this stuff works, right? With Fushi changing into these people, even if you could even if he could take Gugu's body, or if he could turn into Gugu, and Gugu merge his spirit into that body, it's a question of now what, because he can only be one of them at a time, and we don't know what happens to the other forms. Well, we know that the other forms just reset, but we don't exactly know what happens to the other forms when he switches. But it also seems like, from the little amount that we've seen in this episode, is that it also seems that the spirits stay with Fushi. They follow him, because we're far away from wherever the fuck March was born, right? Like, it's obvious that we are a decent ways away. But it seems like March followed us, as far as we know, because she's still there. Like, I'm sure that wasn't just a show thing where there's like, oh, now let's show March because reasons. No, March's spirit followed us here, and Gugu's spirit followed Fushi here as well. They and I don't know how long the spirit is still good. I don't know if it goes bad or anything, but how long can they stay out of those forms, right? Especially with March, since we lost her form. How long can March stay without her form, without her body? It seems like, for now, I don't know. Like, it seems like for now, since we have Gugu's form, like, Gugu's spirit is chilling. But how long will March's form, or how long will March's spirit be chilling, since we don't have her form anymore? Now we have a reason to follow. Now we have a reason, at least from a meta perspective, we now have a reason to continue our journey. Like, from the as far as like looking at the show and how they push the story forward, we need March's form, or March will probably cross over. And maybe technically March has already crossed over. Maybe technically March is past their expiration date, which sounds horrible. But I say all this to say that the story, as cool as this show is, right, it was very easy for the story to fall into a pattern of meeting somebody, they die, we get their form, meeting somebody, they die, we get their form, in which would still be cool, but there's a and this, once again, this is me still talking from a meta perspective of the show, is that there's a point in that show where it can get a little monotonous. Like, you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, of course they're gonna die. And that's not to say that it doesn't make it any sadder or anything, or any less sad or anything like that. What it does say is that the story from that perspective, and in that, only that perspective, like, there's so many other facets of the story that you could go into, but the story from that perspective could lack depth, right? This whole afterlife thing opens so much stuff up. Yeah, like, as we talked about a couple episodes ago when we first brought this up, it comes with it could get very questionable if we get to the point where Fushi learns a way to actually merge these vessels together and basically just revive them. We can get into some questionable waters with the story. But for now, this opens the story up. I'm like at least wider than it was before. So now we have a lot more to think about, and it's a lot more to wonder, as well as pushing the story forward. So this is cool. This is cool. I really enjoy this episode in the small tidbits of how the afterlife works. And I'm actually interested more than anything right now is to learn more about the afterlife and the creator, because while I don't expect the creator to be like, oh, and here's all the answers, right? The creator seems to be pushing Fushi down a path that leads to more answers. And just to round off the discussion, while talking about that, it seems that now Fushi understands that. He's come to the understanding that that he does need to better himself. He needs to go further in his, not in like a normal shonen sense of being like, okay, I got to get stronger, I got to train, all this stuff, but he does need to learn more, and not just like normal human stuff, but he needs to advance. I think it's the best way to explain it. He needs to advance. So now the possibilities for the story, pretty much endless at this point. Really, I mean, the whole time that they were like sparing her feelings and be like, this is where Fushi died and stuff like that. I was just sitting here in my mind like, that girl ain't dumb. like that girl ain't dumb. And obviously the show at the end there confirmed that she understands that Gugu, this is gonna sound stupid, while Gugu died that day, he's not dead. His spirit lives on, and he's still he's simply going somewhere else. So this was a really good episode. This opened up so much shit to think about and talk about, from like a ethereal aspect of what's going on, but also this could get into some interesting conversations about what Fushi should do, and whether the creator is right in what he is doing, what the end goal for the Knockers is, if there is anything outside of just we want to expedite the destruction of this world, you know what I'm saying? And the creator just being like, yeah, I want to preserve it though. It could be anything. But this was really good. This was really, really good. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. You're just a lurker. I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more to your eternity or something totally different, the best place to land in, as always, my social media link's going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early or the full-length reaction to these episodes, you subscribe to my Patreon. We also have Discord if you want to join that. So with all that being said, let me get my off button ready. There it is. Y'all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.